everybody! In today's video I'm going to be trying out Liquid Diamonds casting resin. I've wanted to try out this stuff for a while because I've read that it is very low viscosity, which means it's a very thin product. My usual go-to resin is Super Sap CCR, and one of the main things that I love about it is that it's a very thin product. The good thing about low viscosity products is that you get fewer bubbles in the finished product because since it's thinner, it's easier for the bubbles to rise up and then you can pop them with a lighter or whatever. So that's a big selling point for low viscosity products. So I'm essentially going to be comparing it to Super Sap in a lot of ways. That's not something I am trying to do, but I keep on seeing a lot of similarities. So I apologize if I keep on bringing up Super Sap. The big thing that would make it to where I would switch from Super Sap to this would be the anti-yellowing properties. That's like the make or break kind of thing for me and a resin product, and I'll get to that here in a second. For now, we'll just kind of read the front of the bottle and I'll elaborate a little bit more about what I was just talking about. All right. So Liquid Diamonds casting resin, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. That's why the resin bottle is bigger than the hardener bottle, is because it's going to be 2 parts of the resin to 1 part of the hardener. That's what's going on here. It's the same with Super Sap. All right, cures crystal clear and rigid like glass. Cool. Extra low viscosity. That's what we were just talking about. It just means it's very thin. And to be honest, I've never seen a resin this thin. The hardeners tend to be a lot thinner than the resins in kits like this, and the hardener is crazy thin. It's not the thinnest I've ever seen because this is the Super Sap resin, or a hardener rather. They're like water. But the resin, I've never seen one that is this thin, and I'm really excited to give it a shot. Okay. Resists moisture, heat, and yellowing. So all resins yellow to some degree over time, some much more than others. And what I usually do in these demos and reviews is I cast some pieces, just some clear pieces, and then I take those pieces and I put them out in the sun and kind of monitor them over time to see how they are yellowing and how yellow resistant they are, if it has a UV inhibitor. I've never worked with, I think Art Resin actually is the most yellow resistant, but Super Sap is a close second. Yeah, I haven't worked with one that has the yellow resistance that Super Sap has. So that's going to be the big seller for me. I'm actually going to take the pieces, I'm going to put them out in the sun, and I'm going to directly compare them to Super Sap, and I'm going to see which has the better anti-yellowing properties. So as far as the price, it's comparable to Super Sap. Super Sap is about $70 for 48 ounces. And this is 24 ounces for $34, I believe, is what I paid for it. I got it on Etsy. You can get it on Amazon as well. The price is comparable. The formula looks comparable. We're going to work with it and see how that goes. The kit came with this little spatula that was just kind of taped to the side of one of the bottles, so that's pretty neat. I will actually go ahead and use that in this demo to mix it up. And then this is the directions. So we'll go ahead and just kind of go over this real quick before we hop into the mixing and the measuring and all that. All right, Liquid Diamonds mixing instructions. Using a round mixing cup, mix 2-to-1 by volume or by weight. Okay, it's also 2-to-1 by weight. That's cool. You will notice that Liquid Diamonds is extremely clear and the viscosity is thin like water. Yes, I absolutely did notice that. Pour resin into hardener and stir well for 3 to 5 minutes. I've always poured the hardener into the resin. It works for me. I'm not gonna switch it up. I'm just gonna keep on doing what works for me. So yeah, let it stand in mixed container for 5 to 10 minutes to allow bubbles to rise to the surface. All right, I can do that. To dome, glaze, or make color swirls and blanks. I think they're talking about pen blanks, and then the part with the lathe, I think that's also pens are made with it. Allow mixture to set several more minutes for a thicker honey-like consistency. This is a slow cure resin and it can take 45 minutes to an hour to get that consistency. The other product I work with is the same, Super Sap. It's very, very thin. If you want to work with it at a thicker consistency for things like doming or whatever, mixing glitter in, you have to let it sit for a while, and it's about 45 minutes to an hour. So that's something I'm used to. I don't think a lot of other formulas are like that, so that's definitely a similarity it has with Super Sap. All right. Always wipe the bottle opening of the hardener when done so that the powdery substance doesn't form. All right. Now this is interesting to me because I was doing a little bit of homework online about the product, and I was seeing that this is an issue that people do have. If you experience a sort of film on the surface of your cured piece, there could be a few reasons. Too much hardener could cause a film that resembles an oil slick. All right. Make sure you are measuring accurately. Will do. Moisture or direct flame on uncured resin can also be the cause of a film. All right. Please note your bottles may not be filled completely to the top. It's normal. They're filled by weight and not volume. Okay. If you've never used a 2-to-1 resin, you might feel a bit intimidated. Just remember to use twice the amount of resin as hardener. I've included a small chart on the other side of the card to make it a little easier for you. That's nice. Yeah, see, I can relate to that because I always used to work with the 50, like half resin and half hardener products, the 1-to-1 ratio. And when I decided to try working with the 2-to-1, it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I don't understand why. Like, it's just something that kind of unnerved me, and it wasn't rocket science. It was just, you just adjust your measurement accordingly and it's fine. So yeah, I completely understand being a little bit intimidated if you have not worked with a 2-to-1 ratio product before, but it's okay. You just measure accordingly. It'll be all right. So what we're going to be doing is the same thing that I pretty much do in my demos and reviews, almost all of them, I think. I'm going to mix up the product. I'm going to pour some into one of these molds of like varying thicknesses, and then I'm going to take those pieces and put them out in the sun. So we're going to be working with this mold today. I have my little measuring cup all good to go. I'm going to be measuring 20 milliliters of the resin, and I'm going to be measuring 10 milliliters of the hardener since it's a 2-to-1. And with a product like this, I like to move the thinner hardeners over to little squeeze bottles. Like this is the Super Sap CCR hardener. I don't have any more of these bottles though, and I'm really trying not to order more things from Amazon right now. So fortunately, one of my viewers actually gave me a really handy tip. She suggested using these little squeeze dealios to like suck some out and like help measure more accurately, which is handy because I just happen to have one of these on hand. I don't have any more, I have one. But I'm going to use that to kind of help me make sure that I measure this super thin product a little bit more accurately. Okay, I got my gloves, we'll get those on. And then a question I've been getting a lot lately is, should I use a respirator or a mask when working with resin? There's a lot of factors involved, amount you're mixing and ventilation of the room, sensitivities, all of that, so on and so forth. I think it's a good call if you're concerned enough about it to be asking the question, and if you just want to like take care of your body. I don't see anything wrong with trying out a respirator. This is mine. It's a little bit covered in paint. I use it to paint. I would have loved to get a new one and do an unboxing, but we're in the middle of a pandemic, so that's not going to be happening anytime soon. But you want to look for either a full mask or half mask respirator, and you want the cartridges to be organic vapor cartridges, and I'll leave information for this in the description area below. So I won't be using it on camera because then you wouldn't be able to hear what I'm saying. Well, I guess maybe, whatever. I'm not using it on camera, but I have been using them off camera. So yeah, I don't know why I was still talking into it for that last part. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and clear everything off and get situated, and we'll start measuring and mixing. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my resin. It came with these little foil things on the top. I went ahead and just cut them off. So let's start. Okay, I think I'm gonna hold this up a little bit higher and at least just kind of get it started. Wow, I cannot believe how thin this product is. Okay, now I'm gonna mix in my hardener. Okay, I just kind of wanted to get a little start on it, and now I'm going to go ahead and take my little pipette and kind of sucks them out. And drop it in. Oh no, I'm making a mess. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this off camera because I'm making a mess. You get the idea though. I think I do still prefer the squeeze bottles. I got it measured. Now I'm gonna just start to mix it a little bit in this cup, and then I'm gonna pour it into this bigger cup. All right, let's do this. Now I'm going to start mixing it up. Okay, the directions said to mix for 3 to 5 minutes, so I'll go ahead and keep on doing this off camera, and then I will come back when it's time to pour it into the mold. Okay, so I mixed up the resin, and then as per the directions, I let it sit for 10 minutes to let some of those bubbles start to rise and degas and all of that, and it looks very clear. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour a thinner layer into one of these cavities and a much thicker layer into one of these cavities. And I have enough for a smaller one as well. Okay, I'm also going to take this little bezel, and it just has a plain white paper background, and I'm going to pour some in there as well. And what I do with these is I'll make another one, and I will put one out in direct sunlight, and then I'll keep one inside in complete darkness, and then after a couple of months I'll compare them. Okay, I think that's good to go. So I'll keep track of the cure time, and then I'm going to mix up another batch, and I'll figure out what the pot life is and all of that, and I'll report back with my findings. So I will see you when all of this is done curing. Probably I'll check 24 hours from now, and then I'll kind of go from there. So I will see you soon. Okay, so it's been a couple of days, and I made sure to monitor the cure time, and it took about 24 hours for the thicker piece. Thicker pieces will cure faster because they get warmer. The smaller pieces took a few more hours on top of that, but it wasn't bad. And then this, off camera, I went ahead and mixed up another batch just to monitor the pot life. And I just want to bring up that when I mixed up this batch, I went ahead and measured by weight instead of volume, and they look about the same. I really just did it because there's always a guy in my comments telling me that I should measure by weight instead of volume. So here you go, guy in the comments. I measured by weight instead of volume. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and pop these out and give you some thoughts on them.
So I was just editing and I realized that I just skipped past breaking down the pot life. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So I also found some other information on Amazon about the product, and that's what you're seeing on the screen. So according to this, for 150 grams, you'll get about 45 to 55 minutes of pot life. I only mixed up about 1.5 ounces, and I got about 2 hours of pot life out of it. That's a really long time. So that's just something to be mindful of.
So I'm going to start with the biggest piece. Just going to pop that right out. All right, we're going to look at the bubble situation. So there's a pretty good amount of bubbles in there. I mean, it's not bad, but one thing I actually did notice, this is the other batch that I mixed up just to monitor what the pot life was. They're about the same thickness, and there's significantly fewer bubbles in this piece. I'm not really sure why. The only real difference that happened was with this piece, I used that plastic spatula, and with this piece, I used just a regular popsicle stick like I like to use, or craft stick rather. I don't know if it's relevant. I have no idea. All I know is that this one has significantly more bubbles. It's still not bad for a resin that wasn't heated up or put in a vacuum chamber, but yeah, I just wanted to point out the difference between these. So now we're gonna pop out the thinner pieces. I noticed something weird about the thinner pieces, and let me see if it picks up on the camera at all. Okay, so here's the thinner piece. Not very many bubbles at all. That's what you get with a low viscosity product. But on the other side, it has this weird, like it's worse on this one. Okay, it has this strange texture, and I don't know, I'm not sure if the camera's even able, okay, I think you can kind of see it. It's like this, like crinkly, kind of weird texture. It's not smooth. It's kind of strange. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's just the thinner piece. And then even when I did it again, when I mixed up more resin and did it again, on the thinner piece, it has just like a really weird texture thing happening. And I don't know, I haven't seen anything like it before. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. And I don't know why it's just the thinner pieces, but I'm not particularly happy about that. And I don't know. Here's the other piece that I mixed up. So there you go. That's what those are looking like. Very few bubbles. And then this is the bezel, and it also has a strange texture. I don't know if the camera can pick up on it. It's not totally smooth. But yeah, all in all, it was an alright product to work with. Very few bubbles because of the low viscosity. It's nice and crystal clear. It's a very, very hard cure. You can't dent it with your nail. That's nice. So yeah, what it's going to come down to is the anti-yellowing properties or the yellow resistant properties, and that's just going to take time to test out. But as of right now, would I use this instead of Super Sap? No, I would not. Maybe it had to do with the measuring. Maybe I should have measured by weight, but I did measure by weight, you know, and it still has that strange texture to it. So I guess that pretty much covers everything I wanted to cover. I'll monitor the yellowing. I will make sure to leave a little update in the description area below to keep everybody up to speed with what's happening. But yeah, that covers everything I wanted to cover. If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing and all those things that go with YouTube. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comment area below. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.